A very good day to you, everyone. This is Masterpiece Inspirations. My name is Clems. I'm coming to you this evening from my own side, and I've just decided to share some inspiring message which I think is going to be valuable to someone. I was inspired. I was just sitting on my own, and the thoughts and the reflection just came to me, and I can't just keep it to myself. So this is gonna be a podcast series, and I wanted to get started. All right. So the topic which I want to discuss with you is this. A lot of people struggle with a lot of vices. Maybe addiction, maybe habits that you would like to break, and some maybe procrastination, and a whole lot of other things that are negative and non-productive in your life, which that this has been a showstopper. This has really compromised your progress in life, and you have struggled to deal with it. I think with these few steps that I will give you, if you give it a thought and put it into action, definitely it will go a long way to get you started into breaking those addictions, breaking the habits, ending those procrastinations, and so on and so forth. Now let's look at it this way. The mind is powerful. Whatever your mind decided to accept as a fact, your whole decision and your outlook will go in that direction. Now I come to think I thought this to myself, because sometimes when we do things, we might not necessarily know how we manage to get the results, but upon reflection we can start putting the puzzles together. So I've asked myself, how was I able to overcome some habits and some temptations into, some addictive behaviors and addictive substances? How was I able really to overcome it and not to be taken in by them? The first thing is this. You got to tell yourself that you were not born this way. You were not born an addict. You were not born a procrastinator. You were not born with terrible behavior or habits. You were not born that way. Those things came at some point in your life, either consciously or unconsciously. And if they came in that way, you got to tell yourself that you have the ability, you have the inherent power to turn the dynamics around. So you got to tell yourself, this is not a battle. Rather, I'm coming from a place of dominion. I'm coming from a place of victory. That somebody has been a spotter in my life, and it's time to tell that person to leave. Now, I'm just saying this figuratively, but that's the way you got to reprogram your mind to face the giants and overcome the giants. The giant of addiction, the giant of procrastination, the giant of bad habits, the giant of evil behavior, the giant of negativity, the giant of imposter syndrome, the giant of self-sabotage, the giant of self-doubt, all type of self-limiting habits and belief. You got to believe that you have the inherent power to overturn the table and turn things around. So you are not approaching the subject, you are not dealing with it from a place of battle, rather you are dealing with it from a place of dominion. That you hold the cards here, and you got to play your card to get rid of the spotter in your life, to get rid of that giant, to overcome it. What is it gonna do for you? Firstly, it will empower your mind to understand that you can do this, that you have authority, you have the dominion, you have the self power, you have the will to overcome that behavior, to overcome that issue. When you think of it this way, you begin to accept that this is possible, because this gives you a possibility mindset. It gives you the edge over that situation. You see that? That's the first thing. So accept that you have authority and dominion over the situation. Accept that you have the power, the inherent talent, the inherent ability to overcome that thing. You were not born that way. It could be anything. It could be anything. If it can be learned, then you can unlearn it. That's the first step. Now the second step is this. You got to understand your identity. If you want to quit drinking, smoking, you got to see yourself as, I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a broker. You got to see yourself in that light. You got to change the identity. Because changing your identity gives you a new self-image. You know, one of the things that I've noticed about people that have, been unable to rise above certain circumstances and to defeat the demon is because they so hold on to the self-image of who they used to be. Now you want to have a transcendent transition in your life. You begin to see yourself as the place you are headed to. You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to break those habits? You want to break addiction? Begin to see yourself as where you are headed to. Clean, right? Can't do this. No longer smoking, no longer being abusive, no longer be, suffering under the weight of self-sabotage, under the weight of self-doubt. You begin to see yourself as having a superior mindset and superior mentality above those things that are holding you back. And that comes to changing the identity. And the first way to change the identity is by changing the way you look at things. There's a saying that when you change the way you look at a thing, that thing will begin to change. The circumstances will begin to change, because perception is reality. So when you begin to see yourself with a different identity that is synonymous with where you are headed to, you will find out that you have a different self-image of who you are. And your mind has a way of accepting whatever you project onto it. And that's why you can wake up, man, you don't feel like doing that thing again, because you become a new man, you become born again. Right? That is about changing the self-identity. In the religious parlance, they say repent. Repent is about change of mindset, change of identity. So you got to change the identity. This is going to be an internal work first. The second thing that goes with identity is your self-talk. What do you say to yourself? Now, if you are a smoker, do you still say, I'm a smoker? If you are if you used to drink, do you say, I'm alcoholic, I can't stop it? No, you got to change your self-talk. Over 80% of our talk are all negative talks. And the implication of this is whatever you tell yourself repeatedly becomes your dominant thought, it becomes your dominant action, it defines your destiny. So you got to begin to change your self-talk in alignment with where you want to see yourself. That goes hand in hand with your identity. Because what you label yourself and what other people call you and what you project is what you become. So you want to break the addiction, you want to break the habit, you want to overcome self-sabotage, you want to overcome self-limiting belief, you want to overcome all kind of Self-sabotage. You got to change your self-talk. Begin to tell yourself, I can do this. I have that. Oh, I'm the CEO. Oh, I'm the owner of these property empires. Oh, I'm clean. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs anymore. I'm no longer a procrastinator. I'm no longer suffering from this. There is a popular saying in the scriptures. Let the sick say, I am healed. Let the weak say that I am strong. Because what you say is what you become. So this I will call step number 3. But it goes hand in hand with your identity, because you got to formulate a new identity for yourself. Now the 4th step is this. You got to build a good support network. And this is very important. You cannot remain with the group of people you used to hang out with the kind of environment you used to be, that dominated and controlled who you are. If you want to transcend into the best version of yourself, you got to change your environment, change your network. You got to build a network, a supportive network. The saying that says, evil company corrupts good character. You can't be hanging out with people that do drugs and you expect that you won't do drugs. There's another saying, a very funny one. If you hang out in the barber shop for a long time, you're gonna have a haircut. Likewise, if you are with people who always talk, we are losers. Oh, because of our skin color, we can't do this, we can't do that. If you entertain that long enough, you become like that. So you got to build a support network of people who are headed in the right direction like yourself. People who have done what you want to do. You got to build that support network. You need people that can call you up, people that can say, man, I think you wanted to be this. Why are you doing this? You need that accountability partners. So you change the network of people around you that looks like where you want to be for the next stage of your life. That looks like where you are headed to break whatever is holding you back. I believe that if you put these 4 steps, so the first one is to understand that you are coming from a place of dominion because you were not born that way. I'm saying in the sense of whatever character, behavior, addiction that has taken hold of you, you were not born in that way. So you come from a place of dominion, not from a place of you are fighting a battle. No, you are coming to dispel whatever is holding you back, because you have the self-will, you have the power to do so. Now, the second one is to change your identity. Understand that you will always look like what you have accepted as your self-image. Therefore, you got to see yourself as different. See yourself in the light of what you want to become, not what you were. Even though you're struggling with this, begin to create an image, a self-image of who you want to be. You can even print them out. And the third one is self-talk. You got to maintain a positive self-talk. Use affirmations so you can print out your picture of what you want to be like. Begin to talk to yourself. Use positive affirmations. As a matter of fact, I got a book on this, Daily Positive Affirmation for Overcoming Fears and Challenges. And I will leave a link to that book. And I think this is one of my gifts to you that will help you. And it has helped me in many ways. So you begin to talk as what you want to become. Begin to build a different self-image of who you want to be. And that's the third one. Using the right affirmations. Letting go of negative self-talks. And then finally, the 4th step is to build a network of valuable support individuals. because you cannot remain in the same environment, hang out with the same people, and expect the different result. It was about Einstein that said that madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It ain't gonna happen. So you need to change the environment, change the people you hang out with. And I believe that with these 4 steps, it will help you to get started into breaking the addiction, into overcoming the self-sabotage, into overcoming the self-doubts or habits or procrastination, anything that hold you back. One step at a time. If you put these 4 steps into practice today, I think you will come back with some testimonies. Now remember, if you have been in this condition for a long time, it's not going to change overnight. It takes the consistency of practice, putting this into action, so that you can overcome that giant and become the best version of yourself. I hope that this has been valuable to you, and I would like you to leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. Let me hear your stories. I remain your host, Clems. Masterpiece Inspirations. My desire is to help you turn your setback into a comeback. If you're an entrepreneur, emerging leaders, I want to help you to unlock your leadership and your unique potentials, so that you can identify what is your uniqueness and craft your stories to overcome all forms of self-sabotage and become the best version of yourself. Thank you very much. I want you to head over to www.masterpieceinspirations.com. You subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to my newsletters and other publications. And I will be right back again with you by next week. Thank you very much. You have a lovely week and become the best version of yourself. Signing off.